It's not just IQ. You're taking this atheistic argument, which is baffling to me. Why you as a Christian would have this kind of IQ fetishism? You're not a white nationalist. IQ is not the end-all, be-all of human existence. I am happy, I'm fine with having a 90 average IQ country that abides by traditional values, that abides by whether they be Christian or Muslim. I actually prefer the low IQ Christian countries that value marriage. They don't have degeneracy. They don't have prostitution. I value those Christian countries even when they have a lower IQ.
In this video, a Muslim activist absolutely destroyed and tore apart Andrew Wilson, even without having much support. Literally, the whole arena was filled with Christians and Jewish people who supported Andrew Wilson, yet this Muslim speaker wasn't scared at all. He dismantled Andrew Wilson with solid facts, strong reasoning, and well-referenced information. You don't want to miss this video at all. It's a powerful example of standing firm with knowledge and confidence.
Or as Muslims, or any other religious group.
Well, I guess ignorance really is bliss.
Good one. That was a neat one.
Slapping your dress. So look, let's point this out. Let's point this out. Let's point this out. Right? We just want to look. We haven't gotten personal with each other. We can go the rest of the debate. We both got a jab in. All right, that's fair. So here's the thing, though. Right? This is still not a refutation of my argument. The historical standard is Christians had lower IQs back in the day. Yeah, and they didn't build modern civilization back in the day. Modern civilization requires professional middle management, 100 to 115 IQ, right? 85 to 100 for skilled labor. What they're talking about is just basic day laborers. These people are very low IQ. And by the way, I'm going to even make the claim that they're really choosing Islam anyway. They can't really think about it that hard. Right? So the question becomes, right, as we're kind of diving into this, I just want to point out one more time, the argument is around a singular Christian principle. The singular Christian principle is that we're not allowed to marry our first cousins. That's in our ecclesiology. And I don't care if you're a Protestant, right? Almost no Protestants do this, right? No Catholics do this. Orthodox, this is forbidden as well. It's not that you couldn't find some sect somewhere, some small society somewhere which practices it. I'm sure that that's the case, but by and large and overwhelmingly it's not. With Islam, the opposite's true. By and large and overwhelmingly they do. So we're basing this on a singular principle, which is Christian, and that's what I want a refutation for. Why is marrying your first cousin for the purpose of building low IQ societies better than not doing that?
Go ahead, Daniel.
To be honest, I don't understand one thing. People like Andrew Wilson and Bill Maher, why do they keep spreading propaganda against Islam and Muslims? You just heard Andrew Wilson defending Christianity and attacking Islam for cousin marriage. In many Christian traditions, you cannot marry a first cousin. So Andrew, can you show proof that Islam forces people to marry their first cousins? Islam doesn't force cousin marriage. It permits it in some cultures, but it's not compulsory. So why blow this up into a big issue, unless your goal is propaganda? I'll leave that question to you. Tell me in the comments if you agree that Andrew Wilson is actively spreading anti-Islamic propaganda.
Again, it's not a causal relation. Islam doesn't mandate marrying your cousin. It's not like we're saying we want to keep IQ low, so marry your cousin. You keep getting the causal chain wrong about this. But it seemed like I've felt, at least myself, that over the past 5 years especially, first with the pandemic and now everything that's happening in the world where World War III is about to break out, I think the modern world is a dystopia. I am waiting for, nuclear holocaust to destroy us all. I don't believe in this absolute value of modern society, and therefore I don't agree with your premise that high IQ is something valuable in and of itself. There are many things to point out being wrong or bad with high IQ. Again, I prefer to turn the clock back 200 years, where Christians had these traditional Christian societies. Muslims had traditional Muslim societies. Yeah, you didn't have a laptop. You didn't have internet. You didn't have cars. But guess what? You didn't have to worry about your wife having to, being in college and sleeping with every frat boy in the university, and you don't even know her history because of feminism. You have like LGBT degeneracy. You have elderly who are being shipped off to old folks' homes because there's not a strong family unit to take care of our own elderly. Children are being shipped off to daycares because there's not a strong family, strong marriage, mom at home with traditional roles to take care of the children. I prefer the low IQ. I prefer the low technology society.
We have to switch it over. Andrew, 90 seconds.
Can I just point this out? That none of those degenerate things that he just pointed out, which I agree with him, are the cause of IQ. I think you're having the problem with the causal link, sir. Let's point this out. And this is really important to point out. One more time, he didn't contend with the argument. The argument is, how do you make a superior society which is better for society? And you know what? All you've done right now is just argue this. Literally, I'm Daniel Haqiqatjou, and I prefer a low IQ society. That's his argument. Now, look, I did not expect you to bite the bullet that you would have a preference for a low IQ society, and therefore we should continue to have sex with our family members to achieve said low IQ society. But over here on the Christian side, well, we're just not willing to do that. So here's what's really important here to remember as the argument structure goes on. Daniel is literally giving a prescription at this point. He's giving you an ought. We ought to have dumb fucking people. That is his ought. My ought is different. My ought is you being intelligent does not restrict you from Christianity or Christian ethics. And we look at the IQ differentials in Christian nations, and we can see firsthand that that is true. So the thing is these are not mutually exclusive claims. When he says higher IQ leads to secularism, I could just as easily say higher IQ leads to Christianity, because all the Christians are way higher IQ. So the thing is like, which of those moral values do you not prefer? Which of them? Which of these Christians don't want degeneracy? They're fighting against it as well. The only reason you've made these successful inroads is because your enemies are so stupid that you can conquer them. And anytime you've tried to conquer the technologically advanced West, you can only do it via immigration, because you cannot collectivize to spare yourselves from the very nuclear war you're currently terrified of, because your people groups are too stupid.
30 more minutes of Andrew saying that Muslims are dumb. Okay, that's great.
Well,
I'll try to be more substantive. I'll try to be more substantive than that. So just listen to this. Okay. So let's get into we have enough time to actually get into the IQ science. So first of all, Andrew, I'm not sure if you know this, but IQ is more highly correlated with race than it is with cousin marriage. So race, if you want to make this kind of IQ supremacist argument, then it will quickly become racial. And if you want to make that argument, just be very clear about it. Does Christianity, like your worldview, promote higher IQ races and everyone being at the mercy of those higher IQ races? You keep making a might makes right argument that, oh, Muslims are at the mercy of us high IQ Christians. Okay, well then there are races that are higher IQ than others. So are the higher IQ races practicing benevolence by not wiping out the lower IQ races? That seems to be what your standard, what your morality actually entails pretty directly. So that, please address the race issue.
I'll give you a chance to respond, Andrew, but I do want to be sure that this doesn't veer off topic too far.
Yeah, so I mean, that's really simple to address. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if that's a correlate. You know what else is a correlate? Fucking your first cousin. That's a correlate. That's a massive correlate for lowering IQ. It wouldn't matter if it was inherent, let's just say, for instance, that white people had higher IQs on average than the average Arab, right? Let's just say it for the sake of a hypothetical. It doesn't actually matter that much, because we know one thing that's going to bring the IQ down: fucking your first cousin. So the thing is, since that is the case, and it's objectively the case, right, I can still make the prescriptor that your societies would be a lot better off if you had 85 to 100 skilled laborers, 100 to 115 IQ professionals, at least in middle management, at least. And you said it yourself, right now you're terrified of nuclear war. We are terrified of nuclear war all around the nation, right? All around Muslim nations. You're probably terrified of Zionists who are right in your own backyard. I get all of that, Daniel. But your people group aren't smart enough to defend themselves against these people. Christian nations are. We're smart enough to defend ourselves from people groups who want to wipe us out, like yours, right? So that's what's important here. The reason why you need to at least have an IQ that's above, I prefer lower IQ, 70 to 85. The reason you need that is because you need to be able to defend and protect yourself. You can't have these strong families he's talking about if you can't defend these strong families he's talking about. You can't have these great values that he's talking about if you can't defend your own people group, because you're at the technological mercy of another people group simply because you won't restrict a single behavior. That sort of rigidity has destroyed these once great lands.
Andrew Wilson wasn't debating Islam. He was lying, and lying confidently. Everything he said in that clip is the same old anti-Islam propaganda dressed up as logic. First of all, the whole Islam wants low IQ society line, come on. Anyone with basic knowledge knows Islam literally began with read, encourages thinking, reflection, science, scholarship, and built one of the greatest intellectual civilizations in human history. So why is Andrew pretending Islam promotes stupidity? Simple, because without lies, his argument falls apart. Then he brings up cousin marriage as if Islam forces it. Again, a straight lie. Islam permits it, doesn't push it, and it's been practiced in Christian and Jewish cultures for centuries. The Bible doesn't forbid it. European royalty literally relied on it. But Andrew makes it sound like an Islam-only problem, which is just dishonest framing to demonize Muslims. And the funniest part, he tries to weaponize IQ stats and twist them into a religious argument, ignoring history, education access, colonial damage, economic factors, everything. That's not debate, that's manipulation. So here's what I want to ask you guys, and I genuinely want to see the comments explode on this. If Andrew Wilson is so confident in Christianity, why does he rely on misinformation to attack Islam? Why does he ignore facts and create a fake version of Islam instead of dealing with the real one? Is it fear? Is it insecurity? Or is it just propaganda for an audience that won't fact check him? Drop your thoughts below. Do you think this was an honest debate, or was he intentionally spreading falsehoods to make Islam look bad? I want to see what you all think. Let's talk in the comments.